Hi, I'm Kyle, and the purpose of this video is to go over my process for my conservative take review system. I felt it's easier to go ahead and put it in a video here. That way I'm not taking up the time in the videos to explain it every single time. So instead, you can just look at this video and kind of see where I'm coming from. The point of this simply is to come up with a way to quantifiably figure out what movie is better than another. That's impossible because, for the simple fact, movies are subjective and you can't do that. But the fact is, you can come close, I feel. And so this system goes over 5 categories, and I weight it against another, my overall score. And I'm going each category 1 out of 10. And then I take that average and I come up with a score between 1 to 20. And then from there, I come up with a 4-star rating, and that's my score. And unfortunately, I have a conservative take rating, which basically goes against the identity politics and what this channel is all about, okay? How would a person who is opposed to that sort of identification view this movie? And do you want to see this movie? Do you want to spend money on this movie? Or do you just want to be able to tell someone to go or not to go? And so I gave one of 3 ratings here: go, no go, or go with caution. Go means absolutely check it out. There's no reason why you shouldn't see it. Any conservative would like it. If it's a no, it means you just don't want to see it for whatever reason. It's offensive for many ways, whatever. And go with caution can be, it's good in some areas, but in some areas you may want to be warned on. So it's basically just to let people know, do they want to spend their money and time and effort, and do they want to recommend it to their friends? And sometimes people just want to read a review or see a review like me, and then just go off of that so they can tell people what they feel as well. That's what that score is all about. So let's get started. I'm gonna go through each category and then we'll wrap this thing up. So the first category we have is story. Story simply is what it says. It's what the story is about. The plot. Does it surprise you at the end? That's the story. And it's very important. Also, the screenplay plays into this as well. Second category is emotional pull. What emotions are you driven out from this movie? Are you happy, scared, sad, all of that? Because movies allow us to bond because they make us feel the same thing at the same time. We all scream at the same time. We all laugh at the same time. And we have these interactions. And that plays a lot into whether or not a movie is going to be enjoyable and whether or not I consider it to be a good film. Next category is called intangibles. Intangibles are something I like to say that are unique to the film. Some films just have things that other films won't have. So let's take a movie like Footloose, the original Kevin Bacon version. And let's compare that against a movie like The Godfather. A person may say, you know what, I like Footloose better because the soundtrack is better. It's that soundtrack that gets it a nod up on, let's say, The Godfather, okay, in that person's mind. And so that's the intangibles. It's like, is there a really good scene in the movie? Like the scene in Aliens when the thing comes out. Or is it really good acting? Or is it really good screenplay? Something that really, really does well that stands out. And the more you have of those, the better a movie it can be. Look at a movie like Purple Rain, all right? That soundtrack was incredible, all right? That movie was elevated by that soundtrack. And so that's what I'm talking about in terms of intangible. It's really a subjective thing in my part, but I think it's important to play because some films need to have that because they're at a disadvantage, let's say a movie like 12 Angry Men versus like Star Wars, okay? What makes 12 Angry Men as good as Star Wars, right? In a lot of people's minds. And it's that dialogue. That's the intangible that Star Wars doesn't have, but yet it elevates that movie to that level. So that's what intangibles are. So the next category is watchability, and it is what it sounds like. How often would you want to watch this movie again, or how willing are you to recommend it to a friend? That's watchability. And lastly is my overall rating, which is a higher score against the rest. And basically it's the feeling that I come out with when I leave the theater or after I finish watching it on television. What do I feel? What's my gut instinct? What's my thing? If someone were to ask me, so Kyle, out of 1 to 10, what's this movie rating? I would give it this score, this rating, and this is the highest one. It rates it against the others, and it's a weighted average against those, so it has a more powerful indicator. So that's the overall rating, and you take that and you come up with the score of 20, best possible score, and then 1 being the least score. And then from there, there's a range where I put into 1 star all the way up to 4 stars, and then I can actually compute that against 5 stars, but I don't ever show that here, but I do have a 5-star equivalency as well. I've yet to give a movie a perfect score. I probably never will. I think the highest rated score I've given a movie is 12 Years a Slave, and that was an incredible film across the board. But there are very few 4-star films I give anyway. I think I've only given maybe 30 or 40 of those that I have in a database that I went through of 1,001 movies that you must see before you die, and applying that against other movies I've seen before. So that's my rating system. I hope that makes sense. So next time you see this on my conservative take reviews, you know exactly where I'm coming from. Thank you so much, and I'll see you on my next conservative take.